Hello everyone, Casey Pyne here. I'm a digital marketing strategist and I have seen a lot of doom and gloom on the internet at the moment. I did a video a couple of days ago about the negative comments that are cropping up on people's posts who are still trading and still doing business and other people giving them grief. And I just thought it would be a good idea to speak to some business owners that are still trading and haven't gone out of business and talk to them about what they're doing and what their thoughts are. And my first point of call was Michael Evans, who owns the Australian Security Academy, which is a registered training organisation here in Australia that has been operating for over 20 years. So he's seen a few different things like the GFC and different things that have hit his business, and he's still trading. So I thought he would be a perfect person to speak to. And we talked about exactly that. So his thoughts and what he's doing with marketing and where he plans to go with his marketing to keep his business afloat during this time. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Mike. I hope you enjoy it. Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Casey. It's really great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. So I've just seen so much news around lately about businesses failing and things going terrible. So I really wanted to interview some business owners who were still trading and still cruising along quite well, and maybe talk about some marketing to help some other businesses do what you're doing successfully. So is there anything that you're doing in particular with the Australian Security Academy?
Okay, yeah, we're a registered training organisation that gets zero government funding. So we're a fee-for-service organisation. So the clients that come to us at any time, they are going to be paying big money from $3,000 upwards to study a qualification over 6 to 12 months to gain a qualification so they can get a job they want. Now, all the qualifications we have are in regulatory compliance. So what happens is a person elects to study with us. They want to work in the tax office or for Treasury or for the local council or for state government fair trading or something like that. So basically, as we started to notice some nervousness in the market, we implemented our crisis response plan immediately. So we went to that and basically we looked at, okay, there are businesses, there are people that are losing their jobs. It's not a good time. So we looked at what we would do in these situations. Now, we have an extensive marketing list, email list, that sort of thing.
Are you talking about an email list that you've got?
Yeah, it's extensive, yes.
Great.
So what we did following your course that we attended 2 weeks ago, there was an addition to our crisis management plan where we looked at targeting our precise customer, our ideal one.
Yeah.
Now, we've been doing that. They're job seekers, right, are our precise customer because they want a better career. They want a qualification that will get them a job. So we looked at the situation. We have a Facebook page where we post available jobs. So we looked, we've got 1,400 members on that Facebook page. We sent out an email saying to everybody on our mailing list, look, here's the jobs that have come along since this COVID-19 thing.
Okay.
Now, there are extensive jobs in Canberra, Melbourne and Sydney that we directed those people to look at. Some were just contact call centres, tracing people or helping people sign up for unemployment benefits for $30 to $35 an hour on the telephone. Well, some people are happy to do that. That's what they want, and that was an available job. Now, you don't really need a mega qualification for that, but, being in study and something showing that you've got initiative will really help you. So we told our people on that Facebook page, here's the jobs. There were senior manager roles of implementing the programs because it's a compliance issue. If they're going to be giving away government money for this, that or the other, They want to know it's going to the right people. It's not going to organised crime and bikie gangs. It's not going to people that are married to 16 different wives, that sort of thing. They want to know it's going to benefit the people that are going to get it.
Yeah.
And the people that study with us, that's what they're studying to do. So we've directed all our people to it and told them, come on, finish your qualification or add this qualification to it. It's going to give you an advantage to get that role. Now, some of those roles, they will only last for 6 months. They're
So
not
there's
going
like a
to.
definite need for your qualification at this point in time. And
That's
essentially
correct.
what
Yeah,
you've done is directed your mailing list and your Facebook group to that information and shown them, you're basically communicating to them through your social channels and your email list what jobs are out there to help them out.
that's correct. And it's been very successful. People have
Great.
inquired and some people have enrolled, and we're at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
This, for this part of what we do, we will ride that now for probably 2 months.
Yeah.
So we've made an awareness campaign to a precise targeted market, just
Mm-hmm.
like you told us in your course 2 weeks ago, and it's worked. But
So
look, can I be
how long have,
really
yeah,
sorry?
sorry.
Can I be really, really frank with these jobs are for 6 months. Some of the program jobs, they're going to be for 7 months, 8 months for the leaders, right? This is going to pass.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not going to go on for 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're doing something about it and it will pass. It is an unprecedented, in my lifetime, amount of government support that's going into the economy to assist business people with this, to
Mm-hmm.
assist state governments with this, and to assist individuals who, if through no fault of their own, because they're in tourism or whatever, which is shut down as a result, that they're going to get some support through it. But if you look at the opposite end of that, it's created a whole lot of work as well. So people might have lost their work, right? Lost their confidence, but look, you can rebuild and come back. I'm from a
Absolutely.
family business background. My family business, right, was established, my great grandfather established it in 1898. If it survives the coronavirus, it will be 121 years old. It survived 2 world wars, countless recessions, a depression, the Spanish flu, and it's still going.
Yeah.
It never stopped as a result of that. Now, we're not going to ground to a halt because of this. What this situation is for is to capacity build and protect the healthcare system
Mm-hmm.
from having 50,000 people in intensive care all at once.
Yeah.
So if we self-isolate, do what they're asking, it'll give them time to get the respirators and the masks and all that sort of thing to a worse period of people catching it. But it's going to give some reprieve to the healthcare workers who are working currently. They're working all their overtime. And if I had just lost my business driving people to and from the airport in my limousines that I own or something like that, I'd be knocking on every hospital door saying, have you got a tired healthcare worker that needs to be driven back home at 3 o'clock in the morning safely so she doesn't have to walk to the car park? And I'll do it for X amount. Or a doctor who needs to be driven back to their house so they can have a rest. I'd be knocking on the doors and handing out cards. Opportunities come out of these things.
Yeah.
You
So
don't go into a depression and go, there's none.
yeah.
You look at what you can match to your business. Now, we matched some very expensive offers to people who might not have jobs at the moment, but they've taken them up because they know the big picture. So certainly it's a time for adjustment. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a time for getting used to a new way. Yes, but you convert and you remain optimistic. Yes, we might be running out of masks. They're on the way. Drugs and treatments and cures are being created, and eventually there'll be, some kind of inoculation for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the end of the world. The business goes on, and if you've got governments around the world throwing their weight behind this, that should send a strong message to you that they're taking it seriously. Now, housing prices have not collapsed. The stock market's bounced back because of that confidence. As a small business owner, you should be confident, yes, you're going to take a hit in the beginning. Everyone's going to be frustrated, getting mixed messages from the government, confidence will be down, but you can come back. Historically, it's been done in the past.
Yeah.
2 world wars, a depression, Spanish flu, AIDS, you name it, they've come back. Everyone was going to die when AIDS came out. They were, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't, right?
Mhm.
And with this, it will pass. Now, if it passes in 3 months because everybody stays home, that's great. If it takes 6 months, well, it's still going to pass. And one day, you'll be sitting down with your grandchildren and they'll say, "Can I have some ice cream, please, Granny?" And you'll go, "Ice cream? We didn't have that during the COVID virus." So, you know, you'll have stories to tell
Yeah.
about your success, your optimism, and your survival in that period of time.
hmm So, Mike, your registered training organisation has been, students have been able to study online for, gosh, over 20 years now?
That's correct, yes.
20, yeah. So, is there anything, even though you've had that ability, is there anything that you've had to kind of change within your business to keep up with the changes that are going on now?
Yes, we do some classroom stuff for certain clients who demand that.
Mhm.
So what we've had to do is we've had to make more recordings of our presentations, that sort of thing, and put them online. We had some, now we've got even more, but we've always had the capacity to do that, and it was part of our planning to go fully 100% online anyway.
Okay.
And while others are sort of playing catch-up football to what we're doing, we're really ahead of the curve with that.
Mhm.
Um, and we integrate a lot of different, it's not download PDFs and, watch a YouTube video of someone in New York City talking about what happens there. Ours is specifically what happens in every qualification, in every workplace that they'll be working in, and it's relevant. So, we've concentrated on our relevancy and we've concentrated on the technology
Yeah.
and we've implemented it and driven it. But if we communicate that
Yeah.
to our clients. They don't know that. We assume they know because we say it on our website. Nah, every email says, "Can you deliver online?" So it's important on maintaining your message. And even though you know it yourself and you think, why don't these idiots know this? You've got to remind them. Tell them
Yeah.
you're open. Tell them you're still in business. They don't
Mhm.
know. If it
Yeah.
doesn't say on your website we're open and still in business, they're not going to trust you. So get it up there. There are people looking for what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have any specific marketing plans moving forward for the Australian Security Academy to get the
Yes, what
message out?
we're Yep, we have a very strong LinkedIn presence, and
Okay.
we're about to start driving that home too. So
Yeah.
that was always going to be the case anyway with
hmm
this. But our job website and our research on that website, we're very right up to date with the demand for our qualifications and what industries. So we really push that daily. So on that website, there'll be 3 or 4 jobs a day that we usually put on there. Now we're trying to get up, 10 or 12 a day. It
Yeah.
was just, a marketing customer service thing before. Now it's a survival crisis management thing where we've got to show all the jobs that are there and not be lazy about it. So
hmm
we might be down on a few phone calls this week, but if we get that right, we'll be up on a lot of phone calls, emails in 2 weeks' time. Now,
Yeah.
we expect a little bit of a hit. We haven't had it yet. It might come next week. It might come the week after. I don't know. But we're driving that crisis management plan through our marketing and doing it. We're not laying down or putting up a white flag so a bunch of competitors that only started last year can run over the top of us and,
Yeah.
command our position. We're holding.
Fantastic. And Mike, you do a lot of videos. Is there any advice out there that you could give to small business owners on creating video content and putting it out there to help your presence online?
Yes, as much as you possibly can, create YouTube videos that answer the 3 most important questions that people want to know,
Yep.
the 5 most important issues with, the 3 methods of success to do this, and you start to become the go-to person in your industry. You connect with 1 or 2 people, they'll tell 6 friends. It's like a virus. So, and they will tell 6 friends too. So, they call it viral for a reason. So if you're answering the questions, if you're genuine and if you are confident, go and do it. I mean, I'm 60 years old. Who wants to watch or listen to me on YouTube? 91,000 people have in the last 7 years. That is ridiculous. But they're looking for answers. We give that away,
Yeah.
and that's what we give away. All our competitors get government funding thrown at them. We're competing with that, and we're ahead of them. So YouTube, create those videos, get the message out there. It's not all doom and gloom. So
Mm-hmm.
people will have time to do things that we deliver on now that they didn't have before. Some, not, there won't be hundreds of thousands. There might be, 24. Well, that's great. That's all we need.
Yeah.
So, but you've got to be present. You've got to present yourself, and do not assume that everything you're doing is known by the people. Tell them your opening hours. Tell them your delivery areas. Tell them your special solutions to what keeps them awake at night. That's where you've got to be. If I just lost my job, and didn't go any good at the hospital thing to drive the nurses and the doctors home. They're doing overtime. They're busy people. They've got money. They've got a job. I'd say to them, well, look, I can walk your dogs for $30 an hour. I'd be looking at all sorts of alternatives
Yeah.
to get back on my feet and keep moving forward and not wallow in it, right? And that's what we do as a company. We look for ancillaries, complementary services, up our vacancies. Tell people there's jobs there. There is.
Yeah.
I just put 6 up on that job page before we spoke here today, and there was 2 I'd like to apply for. So present and keep your income going. Don't lay down and die. Don't be confident. It will pass.
That's excellent advice. Thank you so much for your time today, Mike. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Casey. Just one last thing that's really important.
Yeah.
When you have a time like this, it's really important to support your family. And it's really important you don't burden your children with it if you have young children. As much as possible, try and read a book or smile or something like that, raise their spirits, because one day, they'll raise your spirits too. And yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's a long time to wait to get the unemployment benefit or pay the rent, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't burden them with it. Don't listen to people who are negative. Stay away from them. Right? Just go, yep, okay, that's fine. Their worldview on what went wrong, yeah, okay, in this case, is just instantly redundant. Everybody was in transport and tourism, okay, but go out and put your energy into getting another job, getting another business going, getting ancillary services, but don't burden your family, okay?
Okay, great. Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Casey.